When did a teacher ask a question they secretly couldn't answer themselves? Mr. Vance had one tradition every senior dreaded. Our entire final grade in AP Government came down to a single question. One question. He called it the gauntlet. And for 18 years, he bragged that not one student had ever beaten it. He'd stand at the front on the last day, arms crossed, this thin smile on his face. Smartest kids in the state have sat where you're sitting, he'd say. All of them failed. But please, surprise me. The cruel part wasn't the question. It was what came after. Vance would read the best wrong answers out loud to the whole class, doing voices, pausing for laughs, get it wrong in a stupid way, and you became the joke of senior year. He'd been doing it so long that being gauntleted was a verb at our school. I might have let it go. I really might have. Except for what happened to Eli Brennan. Eli sat next to me. Quiet kid, worked 2 jobs, had a full ride to state riding on his final GPA. He took the gauntlet seriously and studied logic puzzles for weeks. When grades posted, Vance had failed him. Eli lost the scholarship by 0.04 of a point. I watched him clean out his locker like someone had switched off a light inside him. That's when I stopped being curious and started paying attention. Here's the thing about Vance. He kept a green binder locked in the cabinet behind his desk, and he guarded it like it was nuclear codes. Every year, same locked drawer, same green binder. One day I asked him straight up what was in it. His whole face changed. That, he said, is 18 years of people who thought they were clever. Then he locked the cabinet twice. So I did the thing nobody does. I went and found the actual question. See, Vance always called the gauntlet my own creation, refined over 2 decades. But I'd heard the puzzle before. 2 doors, one leads to freedom, one to death. 2 guards, one always lies, one always tells the truth, and you don't know which is which. You get 1 question to 1 guard. What do you ask? I spent a weekend in the public library instead of studying. Turns out Vance's original creation is one of the most famous logic puzzles ever written. It's in textbooks. It's in a movie. A mathematician named Raymond Smullyan published the clean version decades before Vance ever stood in a classroom, and it has a correct answer. A documented, agreed upon, textbook printed correct answer. You ask either guard. If I ask the other guard which door leads to freedom, what would he say? Then you pick the opposite door. The liar and the truth teller both point you wrong, so you flip it. It works every time. I photocopied the textbook page. I printed the published solution. Then I went to Ms. Reyes, who was retiring that spring and had been at the school longer than Vance. I asked her one question. Had any senior ever turned in that exact answer? She went quiet for a long time. 3 that I know of, she finally said. He failed all of them. Said their phrasing was imperfect. One of those 3 was Eli. Final exam day, Vance handed out the single sheet with that smug little smile. I wrote the correct answer, word for word from the textbook. Clean. Perfect. I turned it in first and sat back down. He scanned it standing up in front of everyone. I watched him get to the answer. I watched him pause. And then he did exactly what I knew he'd do. Close, he announced to the room, holding my paper up. But not quite. The phrasing fails. Another one for the binder. A few kids laughed nervously. I raised my hand. Can you show the class the correct phrasing then? Since you have it, that's not how this works. It's a simple request, I said, standing. You've said for 18 years there's a right answer. So show us. Read it out of the green binder. The room went dead silent. He stared at me. That's when I set the textbook page on his desk. Then the printed solution. Then photocopies of the 3 failed exams Ms. Reyes had kept. That exact answer marked wrong in his own handwriting. This is Raymond Smullyan's puzzle, I said, loud enough for the back row. It's in this textbook from 1982. The answer I wrote is the published one. You didn't write the gauntlet, you copied it. And you've been failing the students who actually solved it so you could keep your little undefeated streak. Vance's mouth opened. Nothing came out. What I hadn't mentioned was that our principal had been standing in the doorway the whole time. I'd handed her the same folder 20 minutes before class. She wanted to see it for herself. Mr. Vance, she said, stepping in. I'd like that green binder. Now. He didn't have a single phrasing left.